The call came at 2:17 a.m. Not the kind you expect. Not a crash, not a hospital, just a whisper over the phone from a neighbor. Mr. Daniels across the street. "Tom, I hate to do this, but I saw your boy down by the old mill. He wasn't alone. Something looked off." I didn't sleep after that. Just sat at the kitchen table with my coffee going cold and the old clock ticking like a slow, deliberate countdown. My son, Aaron, had always been sharp. Charming. Too sharp, maybe. Lately, I'd noticed changes. Late nights, excuses, new friends with eyes that didn't match their smiles. But I'd written it off. Stress. Teen rebellion. Hell, maybe even a girl. But when I followed him the next night, quietly, careful not to be seen, I watched him hand off a plastic bag to a twitchy kid in a car with out-of-state plates. Aaron pocketed a wad of cash, then walked away like he was just taking out the trash. I wanted to vomit. I didn't confront him that night. I drove home, parked 2 blocks away so he wouldn't suspect I'd followed him, then sat in the dark of the living room, waiting for his footsteps on the stairs. They came at 2:41 a.m. Soft, guilty. He didn't see me, didn't know I knew. Over eggs, he smiled at me like nothing was wrong, asked if he could borrow the car, said he had plans with Jason. I nodded, said sure. And then I went into the garage, sat in the driver's seat, and screamed into the steering wheel like a man cracking down the middle. I'm not a perfect father. Lord knows I've made my mistakes. But I believed in raising a son with a spine, a sense of right and wrong. And now I had to face the reality that the boy upstairs was feeding poison into someone else's kid. Maybe into 10 someone's. 100. I waited 2 more days. Spied on him. Watched him make 2 more deals. I recorded one. I took photos. Then I made the hardest call of my life. The cop on the other end paused when I said, "I want to report my son." There was paperwork, a detective came, questions, and I gave them everything. All of it. The next night they picked him up in front of our house. Sirens off, but lights still flashing blue across the lawn like a funeral procession. He didn't fight, just looked at me. "Dad?" he said when he realized I was the one who opened the door. I didn't speak. Couldn't. The look in his eyes was part fear, part betrayal, like I'd driven the knife in his back myself. I watched them put him in the car. My wife came out screaming when she realized what was happening. She didn't speak to me for weeks. The papers printed his name. Minor, but still. The whole town whispered. And me, I sat in that same kitchen chair every night, the same one where I'd once taught him how to tie a tie, and I wondered if I'd done the right thing. Wondered if justice and love could ever live in the same house. When he finally called from jail, his voice was hollow. "You didn't even talk to me." "You were selling fentanyl, Aaron." Silence. Then, I was in too deep. I didn't know how to stop. My hand shook around the receiver. "I stopped it for you. And maybe, just maybe, that's what fatherhood is sometimes. Not saving them from the consequences, but loving them enough to let them crash, and praying they climb out better. I'll visit him again this weekend. I always do. Not because I forgive him yet, but because I need him to forgive me."